Y'all, if you saw our Instagram, I'm just jumping in. You saw I was yelling at Poodle because I've got here, and we've had other things to
I've
do.
got a lot to say.
I've been screaming, save it at him repeatedly. He keeps wanting to talk about Love is Blind, but we were doing other shit. But now
so much to say.
You can unsave it. Now we can talk about Love is Blind.
There's no such thing as unsaving.
Yeah, you didn't save anything.
Love is blind. It's reality days presenting. Love is blind.
Y'all, this is Love is Blind.
Love is Blind, episode 7. Impress the parents.
I mean, I don't care. Instagram, websites, whatever. Life is happening. I don't care because this episode was good.
I don't know. The episode 6 was pretty explosive too.
It was.
That's why we talked for like an hour and 40 minutes.
Hopefully we don't do that now.
This episode, I'm so confused. I'm in dire straits. I don't know who's gonna make it. I don't know if Bartis can wake up in the morning and put clothes on at this point.
Dumb.
He's dumb.
Yeah.
And I really, really don't like him. And it's hard because he's so physically pretty, but he's such an it's both things. He's such an asshole to her, and now I cannot believe how far I have done. I have done a complete 360,
as they say on Love
Lockup.
A 360,
a 180, in other words, on Nancy, and now she's my favorite person on the show.
She's my favorite person
by
on the
far.
Show. I mean, I didn't come for her like you did, but she wasn't my favorite person on the show.
I came for her.
I did not think that she would be my favorite person on the show.
Absolutely not.
I would have 100% told you it was going to be Alexa, I think, who I really like. And I still like Alexa.
I do, yeah.
But, actually, you know who my two favorite people are on the show?
Who?
Nancy and Colleen. And
who we didn't like.
And I want Nancy and Colleen to say, fuck you, Neanderthal men. We're going to go off and just be lesbian lovers and rule the world.
I agree. I think if Zenib 2 wasn't around men, I think she would be the most fun, and so the girls would love her. The problem is men are introduced. She is always thinking about how she is perceived, how her looks, and it's a shame because it makes her. She has to act like everyone's mom at the end of the day.
Yeah, she's still kind of on track being the same person we thought. What's very interesting now that we're in episode 7, there's a lot of people that we thought were going to go this way that are not. Like Zenib, still kind of on the same track.
Yeah.
Raven, interesting, but still kind of on the same track.
Yeah.
Whereas
I still stand for a lot of what she's done, though.
But
except for the paying half the rent.
But whereas Alexa and Brennan still on the same page for the most part, but really this flip of Colleen and Matt and Cole as well, and Bartis and Nancy, like all of those people completely have changed from what and that's really what this show, what we do in date. Well, when we meet people anyway, but especially when we're dating, we go off our own stereotypes of people that we formed, and we make snap decisions, and we do this because it helps us in a lot of ways. In life,
y'all remember that this show is probably edited stricter and with an iron fist than any other reality show.
We're possibly not even seeing the reality of who these people are. We're getting the edit, but still, it makes us. It still, as a person watching this, you get invested, and you makes you do things like, wait a minute, I was totally wrong in my judgment of that person.
Yeah,
and it makes you think about just your own way of how you relate to people.
I'll be wrong again. I judge Nancy. If someone else came up and acted like Nancy did in the first episode, I'd say the same thing.
Wow. Just doubles down at it. All right, let's jump in.
But I love her now.
We're going to talk about
hear anything else against it.
We're going to talk about the God. You are fickle like a flame in the breeze.
I have the prerogative
just
to change my
up,
mind.
down, up, around. Oh, so we're going to talk about couples. Then we're going to talk about the meeting little party they had, and then we're going to talk about kind of
The
the
meeting
aftermath.
little party.
Yeah, the meeting little party. That sounds like a Sondheim song.
Meeting little party. He's gonna see me. They're gonna see me. We're meeting just a little party. Little party. Little party meeting. Is it a meeting or a party? Meeting little party. Here she comes with her brand new husband. Uh-oh. Whoosh goes the door. Lord.
That's only 3 people that are going to get that joke besides me, but I enjoyed it.
So stupid.
I've seen Into the Woods in New York, and I'm excited.
I am jealous of you. I wish you could able to see it when Julia Lester was
I
in
know
it.
it's not going to be the original cast, but I've never seen the show, so I'm excited to see it.
You've never
I've
seen...
never seen Into the Woods.
Oh my God.
I've only listened to the recording. I've never even watched the stage version with Bernadette Peters.
How is it possible that I've done this show? I think I've seen... Besides, I've music directed the show.
Wait, I saw it when you music directed it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I saw it then. I forgot
When?
about that. Somewhere in the
with
valley.
the opera stars, with the opera
It wasn't
people.
great.
Well,
you were good, but the cast wasn't. No,
That's
you
fair.
The orchestra
That's fair.
You had an orchestra, and the orchestra sounded good.
I did it because we had a full orchestra.
But you could tell there were definitely political decisions that were made in casting
There were.
and not true representations of who should be cast.
There were.
But I'm not just saying that to be nice. The orchestra sounded very lovely.
They were great. That's the only reason I did the show.
When the cello came in unknown and do alone, tears went in my eyes.
I will never, ever... To do that show, I've music directed that show 4 other times besides that. It's the show I've done the most, I feel like. And I have never had a big ensemble like that, and I never will.
No.
It's just and to hear 8 violins come in on Giants in the Sky with ya-da-dee-da-da, you'll never hear that, and it always made me well up every time they did it.
nice.
Oh, I get you're gonna be, and I think this is a slightly smaller orchestration.
I think it is, yeah.
But you'll get all the good stuff.
I got a good seat. I'm excited.
I'm jealous.
5th row, dead center.
I think who was Danae Benton going into it by the time you'll see her?
I don't even know.
You don't know who that is, do you?
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I might go
She was
see
in Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet. She was fantastic.
I'm going to see something else when I'm there, too.
She was she's in the Golden Age. She's the black woman in the Golden Age.
Oh, because
Yeah.
they do a bunch of Broadway people. I'm excited. My first Into the Woods.
Besides
you're going
the
to
one
New
that
York, though. You said you're going this fall.
I am, but weirdly I
Is
may
it like
not,
your South Carolina trip?
I may not be able to see that because there's like 4 other things I want to see, and I've seen Into the Woods. The
You've
things
seen it.
the things I want to see are like A Strange Loop, which I think is closing very soon, so I have to go see that. I
thought about that,
need to
too.
go see it, Kimberly Akimbo, because a client of mine is in it, and it's a new musical, and it's not based on a movie. So I'm going to support them.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that.
And I'm going to try to see the Wendell Pierce, Sharon Clark, Death of a Salesman. And those are the 3 things I knew I had to see.
I want to see that. I want to see. I have time. I was going to see a musical, and then I wanted to see a play. I just hadn't looked into what play I wanted to see yet.
And Top Dog Underdog is playing right now.
Boy, I like a top dog,
You know,
and I'm usually the underdog.
I have a feeling that play is going to disappoint you
Okay,
for what you
not
think
gonna
it's
be
about.
All right. You
No.
know what? We got distracted. Only Sondheim could distract us from Love is
Where's
Blind.
Timey? Lord, give
on,
me
Time.
Timey.
These headphones are hot. Y'all, we are uncontrolled because I'm so excited about the show. Poodle had a dicking that didn't take. We're both out of sorts. You're getting us raw and unfiltered. Okay.
Creeb! I just
Creeb.
screamed Creeb in my house. If you're listening to our Single Life episode,
So good. They're so good.
the fact that the people they found an Airbnb with an abandoned crib
Oh.
to put in Natalie.
Some PA found that, and I bet executive producer Rachel said, that kid's going to be a producer one day.
That crib goes in every shot.
That kid goes in every shot, Leo.
And we still think the crib's going to be there when she goes to see Michael.
I hope it's there in the tell-all, just sitting by Sean Robinson.
Crib, why are you here?
Natalie.
Crib, I must tell my secrets to you. Did you see a sissy put a horror film thing and it said Crib in red letters?
We should post that.
Crib,
the new horror movie.
Crib.
Sorry, y'all. We got distracted.
Oh, y'all,
Let's talk about Brennan and Alexa because we just ended with the kind of with her dad. Oof.
You know,
I'm still into him.
I decided you were right. I do like him a little bit more, especially when it brought out the knives. That was when
that was funny.
That did it for me.
But
he's dangerous.
You might want to process that. We can still buy those shirts, y'all. You might want to process that.
I will say this. I think both Brennan and Colleen might have won the win over the parents.
Yeah, I think so. After seeing this
competition.
episode, I feel like they did better than
almost anybody had.
Yeah, first part. Yeah.
So Brennan basically says
Nancy didn't do so good.
No,
but that's because
of him.
Bartiz threw under the bus completely.
I have a theory about that, and we're gonna get into it.
I mean, okay. Oh God, it's gonna be a long episode.
That was absolutely malevolent.
It was
and
terrible.
I cannot believe it happened.
It was terrible. But
I screamed.
I love the juxtaposition we get later on, but with Brennan and Alexa. But for right now, he's at the house. He's talking to Dad. And that's where he said, you would watch this earlier. I had not, but he said literally what I said, that
she's not going to marry a chump.
We live an affluent life.
Yeah.
She expects to live the life that, you can provide for her. And he said, and that's what I worry about. That is my worry.
And Dad said, and if I see you fucking around, I'm going to speak up.
I'll tell you.
This was intense. However, Brennan handled it. He was not afraid of him.
My socks are hot. Keep talking. I'm just taking off my socks. It's hot.
Sure.
Okay.
That was necessary. He said, I'm 100% certain about being in love with your daughter. She's very soft-souled.
I loved that.
I just...
He did good. He used good words to describe. They weren't general. You could actually tell that he's taken time to get to know her.
Yeah.
And you can put words to that.
I really like him.
I do too. He even talks about...
He's my favorite of the guys.
It's slimmer pickings from the guys.
I was going to say, I don't know if I have anyone to pick from.
It's really the...
I guess it's Brennan and SK. Everybody else is kind of a douche.
Oddly enough, the more I get to know him, I don't think Cole is a douche. I just think he's a boy.
He comes off that way. He is extremely sensitive.
I think he's very sensitive.
He just doesn't expose himself.
He was told not to feel feelings and let Jesus take care of them.
Yeah.
I think so. But Brennan does. He also talks about I didn't grow up with heat. I didn't grow up with air conditioning, so I work hard.
And I'm going to make sure that will never happen for us.
And so Dad says, okay, well, and that's where he said, so I hear you're converting to Judaism. Which really, y'all, might not sound like a big deal to a lot of y'all, but being from that area, someone in this part of the country that's going to convert to Judaism is a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how religious his family is, but
they're not.
Still.
But still, there's this undercurrent of, especially where we're from, that Jesus and the blood of Christ is the only way.
Yeah.
And so, so the dad, that's when he brings out the circumcision. Is Brennan not circumcised, do you think?
I think that's a joke.
But what do you think? What if he's got a turtleneck?
In America,
most people do get circumcised,
yeah,
but you never know.
But who knows?
You never know.
Yeah.
Sneaky Nick just comes out and
we're not advocating for one or the other. I am not wading into that.
No, we're not. Don't talk about it on the Facebook group.
I don't want to know how common it is, and what it is common. I don't give a fuck.
This is our stance on circumcision or uncircumcised. It's all a dick. We're
all
gonna
a
suck
dick.
it and fuck it.
Sometimes you got to eat ice cream in a cone. Sometimes it's without.
Sometimes you have it in a little bowl with a spoon, with a nice glaze.
It's still ice cream.
It's still ice cream, dick. Thank you.
That is the reality gay statement on
That's our
circumcision
stance.
versus non-circumcision.
That is our position.
That's our position. We're very brave.
We're so brave.
So let's talk about Matt and Colleen. Colleen, the Irish
Colleen.
Rose.
Okay, so this is Matt's house, right? Is that what she said, or is this Matt? Is this his mom
I think
Becky's
this
house?
is Mom's house.
Okay, it's a nice house.
I thought. Yo,
Okay.
what do you think about Mom's Becky's hair?
I wrote down I want this wig. This wig looks so good on me because it's just bigger than it needs to be. It would look good on you too, but you need a smaller one, so you would need a shorter cut.
It's very high, but
Oh.
also it kind of perches on her head like the St. Louis Arch.
It does. Y'all, longer in the front, shorter in the back.
Yes.
Because she doesn't like to get hot. Mm-hmm. And what I love about this is that people are watching this that live in New York City and going,
What the fuck is that?
what the fuck is that?
We saw that all the time growing
and
up.
we see it all the time. You can see it too if you go out to New Jersey.
Yeah.
You can see it
Staten
there.
Island.
Staten Island. Yeah.
You'll see it.
You'll see it.
So they are, they're just kind of North Texas country.
They are.
Yeah.
It's very,
and the family is just razzing the fuck out of Matt. They're like, just another girl you brought home. Not really what you want to hear.
I know, but what this reminds me of is honestly this family reminds me the most of my family.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what they would do. Like your brother would razz you.
Oh yeah, definitely. So they are basically they're like, what is it about Matt that attracted you to him? She's like, well, we were constantly laughing, and that's really. She talks about he made me feel good. He's a very special person. They talk about the little quote unquote tiff they had, which I would not call a tiff.
No, they almost broke it. She said, we almost broke it off. I went, that's not a tiff. Even the way they described, I will say,
He really scares me.
oh, I don't like him. After this
Yeah.
episode, I think he's really controlling.
It's that and he is completely projecting everything he's happened with women
On her.
onto her, and in a way that is where her responsibility in the relationship is going to always be to calm him down and apologize.
Always.
And that's a really, really sad place to be in for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. I hope she says no. I really do. And I hope he gets some help for his past.
The thing is he has awareness on it. He knows that he knows that he has issues with that, but yet he still does it. So
Yeah. He hit it too. He hit it until we saw it.
he did.
Yeah.
He did. We'll get into that because
Yeah.
it happens later. But I was just going to say, and maybe it's colored by that, but I don't think so because I wrote it down before all that happened. I just wrote, again, you really aren't. I'm going back to Nancy's brother. It's like everything you're saying seems bland and unspecific. It just seems you're with someone because they make you smile all the time. Well, Chelsea Handler makes me smile all the time. I don't want to marry her.
I agree with you. I don't think a lot of people, this is going to go on to an old person rant about how no one's articulate anymore.
Oh, God.
Because no one really knows how to express themselves. Brennan could do it.
Yeah, you could.
And
I don't know how to respond to you. I'm scared that you're just going to go off.
but
on
it's
because you're right. You have the right to do the rant. You were right.
and also everyone is soups cash about everything these days.
It's true. It's true.
And we use idioms because we don't want to think about we don't want to think hard enough to actually think of the words that we mean, to choose our words. So we use an idiom. They're like, we say, it's the clothes for me, or it's the wine for me, it's the blank for me, which is, in a way, is a way to be unhappy about everything going on with trying to sound funny.
Yeah.
Especially these people. Yeah. Zenab does it the worst.
Zenob's got a lot of
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. I
But I
wonder
agree.
I wonder if we saw Zenob in a show where she, like a housewives kind of show, where she wasn't having to deal with the opposite sex a lot and she was being there for her girlfriends.
Oh, yeah.
I think she would be completely different.
Yeah.
But I think if she was with another man who was different than Cole, I think she would be similar.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
But with Colleen and Matt, they're kind of chatting, and then Becky and Colleen, they go into the house.
they go off and talking there on the little bench
Talking-
outside.
No, they're talking inside in the kitchen. The bench outside is Alexa and Brett.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I misplaced it.
So Becky, she says, "Well, girlfriend, are you ready to be married?" And she's like, and Colleen says,
Is anyone ready?
which is, I disagree with that. Where someone says, "And is anyone ready?" And Becky says, "That's true," and I go, I disagree.
Yeah.
I think people are ready at a place where they're ready to get married.
I will say, is anyone ready is a good thing to say after you've known them for 14 days.
Yeah.
That, yes.
But I just feel like that's a cop-out, again, to not have to fully express your feelings and also take full ownership of the decision.
What she does when she's talking to the mom is interesting. She basically says, I don't think I could fool you because I'm not that good of an actress. So she plays, I couldn't do this because I can't do that. She plays the negative.
Mm-hmm.
So and that kind of works for mom.
Well, it works. It's the first time, because Becky then says, well, that's what we're worried. This is the first time they've commented of, are you just doing this for the cameras?
That is true.
No one has said this on Love is Blind before. So I think it is smart for Colleen to bring up, I think that is the elephant in the room in all of these.
And what's interesting is Colleen says, I am because I could never hurt someone I love, and I love him. And I believe she does, unfortunately.
I do believe she does love him. And Becky says, I don't believe it's fake. And she says, I just hope she doesn't break his heart. And she said, but honestly, I also worry, I hope he doesn't break hers.
I think she knows her son.
Listen to families, because Raven are friends, because Raven, y'all, friends and family, they will tell you who someone is.
Raven's friends told us everything we needed to know.
Everything we need to know about Raven.
The friends are basically saying, they're like, SK, she is high maintenance.
Yeah, she's high maintenance. She's never been in a relationship before, and she's going to destroy you.
They had more of a problem with him.
They did.
Yeah.
But they did cap it off with, he's going to be heartbroken. But anyway.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Cole. We get a little bit of Cole and Zenob.
They're at his place.
They really did a great juxtaposition of them for this, because we get this great conversation where Cole is really humanized and really deepened. And honestly, I feel like we finally see an emotionally vulnerable Cole.
I agree. And let me tell you this. This is her strength of comforting and being the mom.
She's a caretaker.
And this is her strength. This is when she really does well in relationships.
Yeah.
He doesn't need that all the time. In fact, he's going to push that away. And I think what attracted her to him in the pods is that moment of that kind of the contrast of him being really, really fun-loving and super vulnerable sometimes. Mm-hmm. She got that and thought, we've said this before, this works for me on paper. But this is where she excels in moments like this. Mm-hmm. And it was sweet because his apartment is gross, like we always think it would be. And this he gets this like time capsule from when he was a kid that his parents gave him. It's got dirt from the backyard and baby pictures. And he says, I know they love me, but I wish they would just give us a chance because they didn't get to meet you, and it really upsets me. And you can tell, y'all, he's just so frustrated. And part of him, even though he's saying, I know they love me, part of him, this is making him question whether his parents love him at all. No, you can tell.
It is. Because he even says, I don't even care if they want to be on camera.
Yeah.
He just wants his parents to meet her, full stop.
Right.
And they said no. And instead he said, I'm getting all these Bible verses that are being sent to me.
It's pathetic.
They're not responding to me. And it's this whole idea of just biblical shame, Christian. So we're not going to respond to him. But I such a trigger for me to shame people with Bible. Oh,
And it's interesting that people think that's going to,
and they think it's love.
Yeah,
They think they're sending someone love by using, quote, the word of God to tell someone they're wrong.
because
Fuck
a Bible
off.
verse has no empathy in it, y'all.
Yeah.
Zero. Sending someone a Bible verse says, you're wrong. Maybe you could learn from this.
Yeah. And this, now, like say somebody's going through and you send a verse, that will support them and comfort them. That's
Yeah.
a totally different thing.
That's
But in
not what this is.
This is just saying, you're wrong. We're shaming you.
Yeah.
Shame. Might as well get that bell and put Cersei out there naked.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Remember where you were when you saw that? God.
Yes.
That was a good episode. Anyway, but yes.
And then she got that woman back.
She did. And so Cole says, I hate to say it's pathetic, but it is pathetic. And she says, I hope they hear you out. She said, and then Cole says,
She says she still has hope that they can meet with them.
and Cole says something, again, we were wrong about this. We talked about this, I think, last episode. We said, if his family doesn't bless us, I don't know if he's going to do it. And Cole said, I used to think I need my family's blessing, but
Good for him.
I'm a grown man and I have a conviction of my own. And y'all, once Baptist people start talking about, once they start throwing the word conviction, that means they're going to do it.
He said it was a deal breaker before, and she grabs his hand, and I'm like, okay, they're fine now.
I went, wow, they're going to be so much better.
Speaking of someone who's going to be better,
Golly.
and now time for the Forum on Reproductive Rights. I mean, Nancy and Bartiz meet his family.
Boy, you never thought this would be an issue. But
No,
If
you
you-
don't bring this up in the first time you meet your family.
Well,
your girlfriend meets your family.
if you want to sabotage your relationship so you can get
Isn't
out
it
of
a perfect way?
so you don't look like the bad guy.
That's what your theory. That was my theory too.
100%. 100%.
This was
He's like, finally,
done with such flagrancy.
Oh. I will. I got it before, and I told you, and I still, and maybe you got it because you said you worry about him putting his clothes on. I think maybe you're seeing, because I said all along, I said, I feel like he's just stupid, and you keep talking about his arrogance.
I still think he's
And
arrogant.
but I feel like you saw in this episode how stupid he is, but I saw in this episode how arrogant he is.
Yeah.
It's like I was able to connect the dots more
Also,
on that.
it's extremely self-involved.
When I saw the arrogance, not here, but later on when he has the pissing contest when she's
yeah.
talking to Andrew. It was terrible. Terrible.
The interesting thing is, I bet he had no idea he would come on this show and be hated.
Well,
I just don't think he
and,
did.
and I should have known he was a piece of shit because I was attracted to him. That's my record.
So y'all, Amalia, Penny, and Robert.
She's gorgeous.
The sister is gorgeous.
She is beautiful.
Do you notice he looks like his mom?
He does.
In the face.
He's like a Jamal.
Yes. And he's there. He's like, I just gotta tell you, I've grown as a man. In his like used car salesman voice.
And they're all like, oh yeah, and
I can tell.
you can tell all of his family's talking so loudly.
Also, you can tell he is mommy's special boy.
You can tell he's a mama's boy.
He is the star of his family.
He is.
They love everything he does. Yeah,
You can tell.
So,
Barty says, which I maybe agree with this, in that he says, which I'm glad he says, I have problems with my emotions, and she's helped with that. Okay, yeah, great. I can see that. And then the sister even brings up, kind of says, yeah, well, I knew that you were popular. There were other proposals and things like that, and they kind of laugh about it. But Amalia asks, we hear this later from Rhonda with Brennan's mom. I think this is a good question when people ask, like, what would your life look like in 5 years? And I thought, okay, great. This is going to like a good meeting of the minds. And she's interested in it. So first she did nursing. Now she's doing realty, but she's also interested in doing speech pathology.
yeah, that's what she's doing now.
She's studying.
I don't know if if she actually ever did nursing. I think she was a speech pathologist before, and that was why she had worked with Down syndrome and people and children who are fragile.
I wonder if she went to North
Yeah.
Texas. They have a
I don't
good
know.
program.
I know. I took classes there.
Yeah.
That was such hard classes.
It's a very-
I wasn't allowed to audit either. I've told you that story, right?
You weren't allowed to audit it?
No. Such hard classes. They told me I had to take the courses. The professor said, no one audits my course.
I have to say, if I was a professor, I don't think I'd want someone to audit either.
Yeah.
You're not going to try. I don't want people in my class that aren't involved.
I think I just wanted to be there to learn because I was a fucking music person. And I wanted to learn more about speech pathology and how to incorporate it more
You learned
into my
more because you had to
coaching.
take a test.
I did, and it was very hard because I didn't have all the prereqs that
Oh,
a
I
lot
bet.
of them
Yeah,
had.
yeah.
And
You
so
had to
I
play
had to catch up on that. That's why I know so much about diction and phoneminology and things like that because I had to learn it all.
But then you did better than some of the people that were in the program, and you let them know about it.
I got a B in the course.
Oh, that's great.
And I wasn't happy about that.
I think that's pretty good. Still haunts you to this day, does it?
Should have been. It all came from a paper.
Y'all, he completely is shut down right now. You could tell
It
this
all
just took
came
you
from a
back.
paper. She did. The teacher did not like that I wasn't coming from a scientific perspective as she wanted me to, and I'm like, that's because I'm not a scientist. She did say, "You're really good though for not coming in, not being in the field." I was like, "Couldn't you have given me a little perspective?" Anyway, I'm not gonna bring this up
Sure,
again.
you don't remember her name at all.
I do, but I will not say it. Beth Flanagan. She was a good teacher. She just was merciless with me.
Kids can go on.
Let's move on. I'm still a little mad. So and then she basically says, my goal in 5 years is I'm debt free. I'm working on my real estate.
Barty's like, yeah, and I
and speech
I like to
pathology.
have fun, but yeah, I'm going to work on that. But our real thing is just working on.
And he's like, but
abortion.
Then he's like, so then we had a kind of a problem. Like she brought up like disabled kids and wanting to have an abortion. And I wrote up, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, first of all, it is none of her family's business.
It's none of her fucking family's business.
What
His family, I should say.
he has some opinion because that is potentially her husband. But yeah, it's none of their fucking business. This should not be talked about at a family dinner, and especially the first time you meet someone.
Best case scenario for him, this was to show her his family was on his side.
Yes.
At the worst case, this was to make it easier to break up with her and throw her under the bus and to make his family have second thoughts about her. And
Yeah.
it was terrible.
It was terrible.
He should be ashamed of himself.
100%. 100%.
I still can't believe
It was horrible.
it was brought up in that way. He weaponized that discussion that she patiently had with him.
And that she patiently brought up and put her on the firing range. And don't even get me started about, I know I don't know their life, but don't get me started about a woman of color throwing shade to another woman of color about abortion when women's reproductive rights affects communities of color way more disproportionately. That's not even a whole. So I just wanted to tell that whole family, sit down, shut up.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear you. Nancy, be your own woman.
Exactly. I love you. I would interview her.
She won't
I'd
talk to
interview.
us.
I think she would. I'd interview her. I'd interview Alexa and Brennan. Who else?
I would love to talk to Colleen. Love to.
Yeah.
Love to.
I think Cole would be a fun interview.
Yeah.
I don't know if Zenab would get it. I don't think she'd play.
I don't think so. I don't think Raven would play, actually. I
No,
think Raven
not
would
at
be a
all.
boring interview.
Not at all.
Very boring.
No, same with SK. Boring interview.
Yeah, it'd be a boring
Yeah.
interview. Andrew would be great.
I think Matt would just shout the whole time.
Listen here! Hey!
Yeah.
So after Barti's like, well, oops, I didn't get my sister's approval. That would have been nice. I don't know really why, but...
And what's interesting is Nancy basically says the topic of abortion really matters to me, and I was hoping they would understand. Again, I still don't know why this was discussed at the first meeting, unless it is to create some kind of inflammatory relationship between her and his family. I just don't know that.
I will say, though, to his family's credit, and even the sister, I should say that she threw shade. It really, none of the dad said, you seem like a great person. I really like you. The mom, she didn't sign off on her blessing. But the family, Bartice was, but the family really wasn't saying, I can't believe you have believed that.
Yeah.
Like, even Amalia, she said, that makes me emotional to talk about, and that's her right to have that. But I want to say that, at least from the editing, from that we get Bartice makes the jump of, well, my sister and family didn't really approve.
And
I didn't get that.
And no.
Your dad fucking approved of her.
No, this was magical thinking that he's rewriting in his brain. He's like, I'm really questioning the way my family feels about Nancy.
And
Fuck you.
Which we see that at the end. We see that afterwards. Like, now things are weird because, suddenly he doesn't have physical attraction for her anymore.
Oh, where'd that come from?
Oh, not all along, and you never were
know
physically
why?
attracted to her?
He told her. He told her that happens with him.
He did.
Y'all,
He did say that. I
gave
wrote that down, too.
everything away. He gave everything away from
I
the
told
first
you,
night
he's
in
stupid.
Malibu.
He's stupid. He told her everything.
My friend and I text about this show, and she calls him Bernice.
That's the deal, is that he is kind of the villain of the season, but he's not a Jessica. He's not
I long for a Jessica. He's not a Shayna.
He's not a Shayna. He's not smart enough to be conniving.
Yeah.
And he really is kind of so reactive in the moment, but his instincts are so, me man, me woman. It's so in Neanderthal. That's how he acts.
Yeah, with
Like
with enough of a fuckboy track record
'Cause he's
to
pretty.
know how to deal with women in certain ways.
Yeah.
He was not right for this show. This was I can't believe he went on this show to find love. I just don't believe it.
I think he's perfect for the show in that, as far as the reality TV, because he's not right for him as a person.
That's
for
what
anyone
I
else.
mean, yeah.
But he is perfect because he is. Y'all, some of the best reality stars are people that have confidence and no self-awareness,
True.
and that's him.
Let's talk about Raven and SK. We're meeting her friends Aaliyah and Makola.
Well, I just want to talk about
McCole, sorry.
because I talk about that after. He's saying the physical. Nancy, it was heart-wrenching to watch Nancy just sob at that table and say, he used to give me like 10 forehead kisses a day.
That's not. Oh, we're doing.
That's before. They did that before they met. He talked about the physical attraction thing before the party. Because remember, at the party, then she talks to Andrew about it.
No, this is things have definitely. Oh, were we doing couples? I'm sorry.
We're doing the couples before the party.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And then they met at the party.
I am
because
sorry.
that's important to talk about. Because then
Oh,
at
I
the
was.
party,
I was. Oh, you're right. Because I was. I see. I was doing it just on the way my notes went. But you're right.
no,
we,
that's fine.
we agreed that. Nancy and Bartice. Where is it?
y'all clearly
it
we
is-
prepare. I'm not making fun of him. I'm making fun of both of us.
I know. So
Does this? Hey, did you plug in the thing? Will you plug in the thing? The recording's about to die. We're really professionals here.
where is it? Where is it? It's fine.
We could
Okay.
have just stopped recording.
Oh my God! Not this show. So
Y'all, we're back on track.
let's go. So she basically says things haven't been going well.
No.
Or Bartice says things haven't been going well. He's like, this we have a good emotional connection, but the physical attraction like I told her it would.
It just keeps popping up. I keep trying to fight it, but it just.
Oh, how brave you are! What a brave victim you are. That's what the whole thing is.
He's very
for him.
much. Yeah. He's
hate him.
doing a masterful job of like he's trying to think about, and I think he's thought about this since he saw her. How do I stay on this show, and how do I get out of this without looking like a bad guy?
Yep.
But he's not smart enough
Doing
to do
it terribly.
that. Raven, on the other hand, is doing it quite well.
She's a master.
She's a master.
So, y'all, Nancy basically says something's been off. She's crying. And then she's talking about the forehead kisses that you brought up.
When she talked about it, she's like, "Can I have a hug?" And he said, jokingly, "Why are you being so needy?"
Remember, though, in the beginning when he's like, "Can I have a kiss? Can I have a kiss?
Yeah.
Can I have a kiss? How about a kiss?"
He was just trying to like fake it. Maybe thinking he would make it, but I think he knew.
It's interesting. I think this might be. I think a lot of people in the past have been more veiled about either it's been more subtle. I think this guy has just been the dumbest display of what he
like
has
I said,
done.
I think he's so stupid.
Yeah.
He just no awareness at all.
No awareness, even more than that.
And I wrote, y'all, we don't want to be right.
No.
This is the only time we've actually. Well, again, I was super attracted to him, and I think we liked him the first episode. But we kind of knew this from when they saw each other.
I thought he
saw this going.
I thought he was
way.
too slick in the first or second two episodes, but I kind of liked him still.
Would you still let him sleep with you?
Without question.
Same. I would.
But I
Just for the
would
curiosity.
I would hate fuck him.
And you know Matt would choke you in a second.
I'm a little afraid of him now.
I'm too.
We would need a safe word, and I would need I would need a taser to have sex with him.
Okay, I didn't need to ask that or know that. Let's move on. Jesus. Come on.
Cattle prod or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to get through. Now we can talk about SK and Raven. I think. Do you have anything else about them?
Oh, we didn't do Alexa and Brennan.
Did we skip? Boy, we're really prepared. We can talk about Alexa and Brennan next. Go ahead.
They're at the farm
Okay.
with cows.
The juxtaposition, though, of her life versus his, and this is beautiful where they are.
Yeah.
There are parts of, I bet this is like north going into East Texas.
I was going to say, this looks closer to East Texas.
Yeah, where it starts to be the hill
Yeah.
country. And so, we used to meet his stepdad, Tony,
And
Rhonda,
Rhonda and her stepbrother, Hayden.
had cowboy hat and all. And
L'chaim. And they go, how do I say L'chaim?
like them. It's gorgeous. And they're walking around, and it's so funny because Brennan's like, well, she's allergic to chickens. She can't see the chickens.
Yeah.
But she's looking at the farm and
He loves her so much.
But they both seem so gracious to one another.
Yeah.
And I love that. It really gets down when it looks like out of a movie. Rhonda and Alexa sit down on her granny's bench in the middle of under this fucking gorgeous oak tree.
And she says,
it's made me homesick a
you
little
know,
bit.
Alexa, when me and Tony went out for our first date, he did not kiss me. How does it make you feel when you kiss him? She's like, I see forever. Good answer.
She said, I see forever in him. She said, I saw peace. And again, Rhonda asked, what are your 5-year goals?
Yeah.
And Alexa talks about kids. She wants them to have kids. That's the big thing that she wants to do. And Rhonda said, well, that's all good. Let me just say something.
This was crazy unexpected.
By the way, I just want to let you know, right before Brennan left, his dad was in the hospital, for 6 days. And Brennan couldn't even come because he was so scared to see his father.
He runs, honey.
He runs,
He
honey.
runs.
Love. His
He
love
avoids.
is deeper. It's so deep, but he gets scared. This is exactly the way my aunt. The whole thing, the way she talked, the way it looked reminded me. The whole thing made me a little homesick, even though I was just
It
there.
also tells you understand a little bit of the dysfunction where he came from.
Yeah.
That if your mom is going to, I guess she thinks she's leveling with her, there's something there.
There is this thing, though, that, like, I don't know if my mom would do this. I feel like my aunts would. Where it's like you can't help but be like if somebody's got something, they want you to know all the good and all the bad about a person. It's like they share too much.
I believe that's a different way of saying it that he runs.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying it's like
Because
you
for
can't help
someone
yourself.
like Alexa,
oh yeah,
that's the one thing you don't want to hear.
that he runs when things get hard.
Yeah. Whoa. I just thought of if of all the things that his mother could have said.
This is the
that's
worst.
the
thing.
worst.
Yeah, it's the worst. Fade out on a beautiful shot of under an oak tree.
He runs, honey, because he's scared.
Because he's scared.
Now let's talk about Raven and SK meeting the friends Aaliyah and McCole.
I do love that we're meeting family of choice and
Yeah.
not always families, especially
I'm
being
surprised
queer.
we didn't meet Cole's friends.
It is weird, like if we're not going to meet his family, why don't we meet someone?
Yeah.
But they're,
Even drinking buddies or
they're all
something.
Cole probably knows better than to introduce Zenith to any of his just
That's
frat
true.
bro friends.
Awful.
I bet his friends are hot.
Yeah, I bet they are too.
Hot. And it had to be all male because if she met any of his female friends,
Watch out.
she would have a fucking conniption.
So how long have you known her?
Now, when? All right.
Are you attracted to any of them?
So-
Rate me compared to them.
Yes. So there.
She didn't need to be on this show either.
No, she did not.
Yeah.
She did not. I actually think she thought this show would be good for her. I think Bartiz just wanted to be famous.
Me too.
But
I think Cole wanted to be an influencer.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
For sure. I think Cole wants to be an influencer. But it seems I do believe Cole cares for her.
Yeah, I do
Maybe
too.
he just sells. But
Maybe he's just that good of a
I
salesman.
think he is a good salesman.
Yeah.
And a good actor. Okay, Raven and Etsuke. So yeah. So what are their friends' names again? I didn't know.
Aaliyah and McCole.
McCole. And so McCole is brutal.
I think both of them have kind of come there to take whoever it is down a notch. Because,
Even their friend.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And so Etsuke's talked to them, and he said, like, what do you love? And they said, well, she said she loved that I was deep and not just surface level. And then they say, well, I thought you were going to be taller and athletic.
Yeah.
I also love that they are, that they're showing that, I think a lot of people who aren't super educated in any DEI or diversity would think, what's the deal? He's black, she's black, they're fine.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know. And honestly, I was more that way till I moved to a big city and
Very
learned about more
different
people.
Nigerian culture.
We didn't talk about this, but we know from 90 Day, it's a big deal in Nigerian culture not to marry someone who is not. I mean,
Right.
This is what I don't think it's the only reason why Usman's mom is rejecting Kimberly.
No. I think it's a big difference between there are a lot of even people who come from Africa saying, I identify as African, not black.
Yes.
Not with African Americans.
Yes.
Yeah.
And-
I identify as African and yeah.
Exactly.
Very
And
different. So there's not as
and
much-
Nor does Nigeria represent all of African
Exactly.
cultures. So I love that they're talking about this, and the friends are honestly surprised. And Raven is, she said, I was nervous. She's like, I didn't know this either. She said, I didn't know there were Nigerian grocery stores. Like she said, and I grew up half, and her friend said, well, you're half white and half black. It's so different. And
She
Raven
said, I
said,
grew up in a
I was raised in white culture.
White
too.
culture.
So, and she said, my family has cultural and political ramifications
Right.
that are very different that I worry about. I was like, this is a great conversation to have.
Yeah.
I thought, this is going well.
Then he's like, so I'm going to grad school, California. And they're like,
Whoa.
there? You're leaving? And he's like, well, it's only going to be 2 years, and I'm leaving 2 months after we get married.
You're robbing my friend of her fairy tale. And I went, whoa.
Raven doesn't see this as a fairy tale. She's not going to see anything as a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Raven has chosen friends who definitely they are her family because these are people who valiantly defend her.
And she said, for instance, childhood.
Yeah. And she basically says, he says, well, I'm pretty secure and financially stable. I'm in a pretty secure financial state. And I keep saying, are you? I can't imagine. I mean, maybe he's got a full ride. Maybe he's got some savings.
I'm sure I look at SK, the way he talks about everything in life.
Yeah.
This man has savings.
I understand that. I think I'm worried
But
about.
he does talk about downsizing
Right.
for school. You got full rides as a grad student.
I
and
did.
They give you a full ride to school, but you basically are still fucking eating ramen going through
You
grad
are.
school.
Yeah, you have to find another way to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to find. That's why I was always accompanying and doing all these little other jobs.
You have to.
They give you a little. Mine, thankfully, gave me a stipend. Like they paid for school, and gave me a stipend. So I was able to do that.
But you had to teach too. On top of it, you were.
Oh
a TA.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's not like which takes
No.
your time, so you can't work doing something
Exactly.
else. Yeah, it's
No, I went to school I would be at school by 8:30 or 9 unless I had to teach an 8 o'clock class. God forbid. It was always keyboard class, piano too. Ugh. But then I would leave usually around if I didn't have opera rehearsal or something like that, I would leave around 6:30 or 7. Yeah. So yeah, it was like a
it's a
10,
full
12-hour day.
When else
Yeah.
could you work?
Yeah.
Barely had time for fucking.
I made time. When you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. That's my father told me.
When you love
and
who
I
you
have
do.
gay sex.
He would say, "Well, friend, that makes my stomach turn, but I guess I'm happy for you."
Good for you, friend. So they basically say, and they're talking. They're like, "Yeah, this isn't going to work because with the trap." What I think McCall says, "I don't think this is going to work with all this traveling." And then the friends is like, "Nope, we don't think this is going to work."
No, and Leah says, "What are 3 important goals for you?" Again, a good question. He said, "Settle down, start a family," but the grad school thing is what kicks them out. And so Aaliyah said, "But this again is something that she said." And I went, "There she is." She said, these are childhood friends.
Yeah.
As long as I've known her," and I wrote this down exact. As long as I've known her, she hasn't never been in a committed relationship.
Yep.
He's going to get his heart broken.
Yeah.
There you go, y'all.
He is.
The fact that this person wants to be on a television show to get married and you've never been in a long-term committed relationship,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That is crazy to say that.
I agree. I wonder how long Bartice's longest relationship was.
I'm sure it is not long either.
Yeah.
Because Cole is young, but Cole was married
Yeah.
and divorced. So emotional maturity in some ways in relationship, Cole's, I think, is higher than Raven's and Bartice's.
I think you might be right. Yeah. Should we talk about the group meet party group?
I hope that meet party group. I hope that Raven and Bartice don't get together after the show just to be Instagram. I could see them doing it just to be Instagram famous.
I don't think she thinks he's beneath her.
Oh, she does. He's not rich enough. That's
No.
the truth.
And I think it's why she dates older.
Yeah. She would date Alexa's dad.
Yes.
That's Raven's type.
That's the new couple.
That is the new couple.
Oh yeah. That would move out that stepmom.
Oh yeah.
Can you see Alexa calling Raven mommy?
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
All right.
So the group
Together
time.
again. They basically first they split up in girls and guys, and Z is talking to the girls. She was like, Malibu was hard, and it's funny. Z didn't talk about what's going on now in the relationship. She literally jumped to their worst moment and is just rehashing it.
It's interesting. I think it's because she
I know it was
saw,
only a week
I think it's
ago.
because she saw Colleen and it brought up everything and it brought up all of her.
She said that. She said, well, I'm back in it.
All of her inadequacies that she has about the way she looks, which is that is her, and everything that is about her situation, not really about their situation.
Yeah.
And what's happening? She's when she sees Colleen again, she can't get over that. And so she goes and talks to Matt about the pool party thing, and wants to find out exactly what was said. And he basically tells her that Colleen said, "Well, in the real world, what happens happens." And she's like, "What?" And he basically tells her that Colleen said, "Well, in the real world, what happens happens." And she's like, "What?" And he basically tells her that Colleen said, "Well, in the real world, what happens happens." And she's like, "What?" And he basically tells her that Colleen said, "Well, in the real world, what happens happens." And she's like, wait.
Yeah, because Colleen made her feel kind of better about it, and
Right.
because Colleen, we should say Colleen said before. I'm interested. Well, Colleen said before. She said, he came up to me. It was a little awkward for me, and Zenab even said, "I feel like you played it right." She
Yeah.
said that to Colleen. You played it right because Colleen said, "I told Matt about it. He blew up about it. We broke up, but really it was just remember, y'all. They broke up. It wasn't a tiff.
Yeah,
He
they
literally broke
yeah.
up with her." So anyway, I just want to say before she talked, she was in this place where she said, "Okay, I feel like," but it's interesting. She is not trying to come for Colleen about any of this. She
No.
was literally just trying to come for Matt, or come for Cole. And so that's where she's talking to Matt, and he said that to her, and she starts saying, "This has been such a hit on my self-esteem."
What's interesting is she's not, to me, it's not that she's trying to figure something out. What she's trying to figure out is how to put the blame all on Cole.
All on
Yeah.
Cole.
And
Because I still stand by what I said, even though he's shown himself to be a lot better. Do I think he was flirting at that pool party? Yes.
Yeah.
I do think he was flirting with her.
but it's like, I understand it might be hard to get through, but if we've talked about it enough, I don't know what this does. Like trying to find a way to still make a case against him for it instead of talking it out and why it happened and how both people feel about it.
Yeah, I think that Zenab is, I can't be in a relationship with someone when we talk about something, and if we talk it out, and then if the same thing comes back up again, it makes me feel like they're using that instance or whatever to punish me.
You. Yeah.
And
That's exactly what's happening.
And that's what's happening. And actually, I think it's a form of self-sabotage because Zenab feels so shitty and unlovable
Yeah.
that if I keep bringing, because guess what's going to happen? And it's already starts to happen. Cole starts to get sick of it because
Yeah.
he's like, how many more times can
And
I
he's
say,
gonna reject her.
I love you. I defend you.
Yeah.
How many more times?
And he's gonna reject her, and she's like, "Well, I found another one who's just a dog
all along.
I told you,
Inner pig. I told myself I knew it.
So the other
Because when Matt talks to Cole,
right,
they had a good conversation of it, and Matt and Cole, Matt kind of said, okay, great. You cleared things up for me. I finally get that this was not what I was making it.
Isn't it interesting?
But it's shitty
how
he had to get that from a man and
I
he couldn't
know
believe a woman.
I know. That's what I was going to say. Isn't it interesting how it settled in 2 to 3 minutes with Cole?
a man. But with the woman,
You can't trust him.
drawn out into a whole night.
I'm being played.
Y'all, it's hard for people to be better than they're raising.
It's true. I was going to try to say, with a man, it's easy. With a woman, it's just harder.
It's just harder, yeah. They're complicated. They're emotional creatures.
So, y'all, Andrew shows up because, of course, he does.
He does.
He
looks good. I'll give him that.
he does look
He's
good.
still hot. I would still do
He's
it.
still I would.
He could fuck me down, and then as he's pummeling, I could say 1 second. I'd put out some fake tears and just try to say, "Yeah, I love you."
I think the pre-fucking talk I could not handle. I would make him not be able to talk. I'd gag him.
I would have to get some into S&Mers, and I bet you he would get into that.
Oh yeah. Anyway, he's like, "Can I steal you, Nancy?"
Uh-oh, what's happening with Timey? Oh no, Timey's getting possessed. No! I think we're running out of battery, y'all. It's just flashing at us like it's possessed.
So he's like, Andrew's like, "Have you thought about us at all?" And he's like, "I loved you, goddammit." No, you didn't. And then he's like,
By the way, there's Valerie and Kim. We don't know who the fuck they are, but they just show up.
And
they were in the pod.
Did you have any regrets? She's like, "No." And she's like, "Everyone's saying Andrew's so smart." It was like, and I'm like, "Is he?" And I'm like, "Good for you, Shane, that fucker."
Yes, because I love that she said, "Yeah, I don't regret saying no to you at all." And he goes, "Oh, okay." But then she's like,
It's interesting. She's like, I guess, seeing as how I could talk to you, she's like,
why don't I talk to you about Bartiz?
why don't I talk to you?
Oh, Nancy.
I will say, I don't. Maybe she was just in distress that she couldn't talk with us about anybody.
Well, producers told her to.
This
felt
feels
like,
initiated.
Why would she talk to Andrew about this?
Yeah, it feels initiated, producer initiated. So she went. We vibe off each other emotionally, but his physical feelings are fading for me, and he basically told me I wasn't his type. He wants a tall blonde fitness model, and he's like, well, that's not good. And she's like, it just sucks because the person I love doesn't love me as much as I love him, and that was on the trailer that we saw.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's fine. Andrew's like, it's not fine, but it'll be okay. If you ever need anything, I'm here.
Oh, you are not.
And then Barti's like, hey, what's wrong? What's going on? Everything fine? What the fuck's everybody doing? Huh?
It's such this dick slinging, let me piss. And he's like, everything's great, right? And I went, why?
Should I be worried?
So you're not attracted to her. You don't want to be with her. You want to throw her under the bus in front of your family. But man, she better not want another guy that takes his woman, because that'll make you look like a little wimpy man.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, boy.
This is so transparent that was going on here. And he basically, should I be worried? We're just talking. And he's like, just figure out whatever the fuck you want to talk about. So, like, I'll be over here.
It was actually, I thought, very aggressive.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
And y'all,
kind of scary.
We go back, and Cole is like, Z's off somewhere crying, and so I'm going to go talk to Matt.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped ahead, but yeah,
that's the Matt Cole conversation, which Matt very calmly, with his not the way he handled with Colleen.
Yes, and then Matt goes and talks to Colleen,
right?
And he says, he's like, that conversation, even though he's like, that conversation still messes with me a little bit,
right?
And
it's insane that
Colleen's face.
Oh,
it broke my heart when she just said,
Are you kidding me?
She's like, I just poured my heart and soul out to you yesterday, and you're going to do this to me now?
I felt so bad for her.
I felt so bad for her.
We do get a little bit of Alexa talking to Bartiz, y'all, and she basically says, yeah, sex was kind of okay the first time we did it, and by the third time I said, no, I want you to throw me around.
She's like, and now we fuck basically several times every day.
Alexa, welcome to the poodle side. Sometimes they got to throw me around a little bit. I got to be honest. Sometimes you have to be honest with what you want.
I think you always need to be honest about what you want, especially in the bedroom.
I agree. But I will say 1 to 2 weeks.
Hard.
1 to 2 weeks is a little early.
No, super brave for Alexa to just say,
yeah,
hey, throw me around a little bit.
Because I think that early would need a little time.
Which also, though, makes me worried a little bit in that, not to be too gendered, but there is something about, I mean, for any gender, but when a guy is like really just sexually into a woman, and a woman kind of shows them a whole new world, they're kind of in love with them a lot at first.
Yeah.
So that worries me about his feelings of admiration for Alexa. I hope that doesn't fade. I don't think so.
Right.
But I don't trust anything.
So,
oh God.
Cole and Zenib, she just comes to him and says, so I know what you said to Colleen in my further prosecution of you.
And he's like, I have zero feelings for Colleen. And she basically, he is
says,
talking.
I don't care.
She's not listening to him at all. She's already made up her mind.
Yeah.
Already made up her mind that I'm going to punish him. And Cole's going, what? It's like we're back in Malibu. And she's like, and he's like, I've just been honest with you. And she's like, yeah, the honesty has really helped me. So was he dumb to be that honest with her? Yes.
Yeah.
But like you said, she said,
there's
rate me compared to other women.
Also, there's no way.
It's total projection.
You can't. There's no way you will. It's not that you're trying to win. There's no way you can make her see things differently. She has decided how she's going to see them, And it doesn't matter what you do, she will neg you until you either reject her or that's it. She will neg you until you reject her, and she'll say, well, I was right.
Yeah, because to me, Zenab also, she fights mean, y'all. Because like when he said, he's like basically saying, he said, we've done this over and over, and I thought we were past it. I told you that you were the one for me and that I love you. You're the one I want to be with. And she said, I love that whole display. And when she said that, I went, wow. That's really dehumanizing to
And
him.
what she's doing is using sarcasm and disdain when he is trying, even if she thinks he's not, give him the benefit of the doubt here. Give him the benefit of the doubt if he's trying to be honest.
Listen to him. And she says,
don't use sarcasm.
And she just said, I'm just listening. She's like, I'm on team Matt. And he said, well, now you're the bad guy. And he said, well, then go marry Matt.
It's interesting how, remember, these people have only seen each other for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This happens in a relationship couple years or a couple months down the road.
I would say like 6 months.
Yeah. But
the pods do fast forward
they're
things.
already here.
The experiment does fast forward things.
Experiment.
Oddly enough, Raven and SK Raven and SK have no problems except for she says, don't pet me like a cat. That's basically it.
So
that's where we talked all over it, but that's where Matt and Cole have the conversation.
And
Cole does
they
say,
get it all solved.
They get it all solved, and Cole does say, I'm glad we're bringing this because Cole does say, I initiated it. Colleen was nice about it and let me down, basically. And that was like, Matt was like, I can trust you, friend. I trust you.
Right.
And they shake hands, and then that's kind of like I wrote, Matt said, where are y'all? And Cole said, well, we were struggling. We were doing really good. And now she's telling me she's team Matt. And Cole said, did what I say was so wrong? And I just wrote, I hate men.
I know. Aside from Brennan and SK, who we really don't know all that much, I hate men.
Because I feel sorry for Cole, but he was a shit.
Yeah.
I hate men.
No, I wish we could go back in time and see what Zena would be like with the other 4 men. It would be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree with you though. I think the same.
I think Cole might have been the most volatile, but I think we would still be here.
I actually think too Zenab can't, which is odd. I'll be honest. I mean, I don't like rating people. I actually think Zenab is prettier than Colleen to me.
She's very pretty.
I think, and Cole even said like, "You're gorgeous."
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
It's about what she thinks of herself. But I bet you, if you look back at Zenab's relationship, she is never with a guy that could be perceived as more good looking than her. I don't think she can be with, because she just thinks, well, Cole is gorgeous.
Yeah, he's very attractive.
She looks at him and goes, everybody's going to desire him. What's that going to be like for me?
That could be an issue. Yeah,
I don't think she can handle it.
Yeah, let's talk about Nancy and Bartice.
And after the party,
and she says,
after the ball is over.
Do you know how old that song is?
That's
Showboat.
Are gone.
That is Showboat.
After the dancers leave.
I think that's in public domain now. It's so old we can sing it.
After the stars are gone. I'm done.
Anyway, thank you. So
after the ball. Okay, I'm done.
So, sure? Okay.
I'm done.
So he's like, you were like talking to Andrew, so honestly, just tell me what you want. Just tell me what you want.
Well, she said, you were being weird on the way home, and that's where he jumps into that, yeah.
And she says, we're struggling with the physical, and I was just going to tell him.
It gets emotional because it hurts.
Yeah. And he's like,
oh, and I just was
I do love you, but looks fucking matter. Looks fucking matter.
Well, she said before that, though, she's like, the fact that you don't love me for who I am hurts. And she said it in a very calm.
Yeah.
And that's where he was like, it fucking matters. It fucking matters.
And that's...
you know why he freaked out? Because in his head he went, oh, fuck. I'm going to look like an asshole. She just said something really sweet that I can't fight against that because I know that's true. So fuck, I'm backed in a corner.
And then she says, this will go down, I think, in one of her greatest, one of Nancy's greatest sound bites. Well, stick to your type and see where it gets you.
But I want to say, she didn't say that with malice.
No, but I love it.
She said that with rational
I loved it.
thought and even empathy. And Barty's like, well, but the physical shit leads to the other stuff.
And then, y'all, he starts his systematic removing himself from the relationship because he gives all his grievances. And he starts
to adjust to
well,
this.
The first problem was the ex, and I made a big deal out of that, and then you told me it was silly, and I had to get adjusted to that. And the second problem was the whole abortion thing, and I had to get used to that. I mean, like, I have to get used to so much with you. So many things I've had to get over just to be with you, Nancy.
Ring, ring.
What a fucking gaslighter.
Ring, ring. He was literally saved by the bell.
Yeah.
Because I bet she was going to lay him. And then he gets a call. It's he or she? But Matt calls them.
Where's Colleen? Pew, 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 pew. I need to go talk to her. Where is she? Darn tootin'.
That's what I was going to say. It feels like he goes from
Yosemite
car salesman
Sam
to Prospector Matt when he's angry. Golly!
I'm packing my bags.
Packing my bags. My woman's gone.
Get the mule going.
Woo!
And she
when
said,
love is dead, relationship's gone.
She told me she'd be back. She went to the club. What kind of woman goes to the club?
It's at 2:30 on a Wednesday. We've got crops to make tomorrow. Pew, 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 pew.
This is not somebody I give my life to. Now, Bartiz goes over there.
This was riveting. Yeah, go ahead.
And he's like, it's not somebody I'm giving my life. She's like, you need to calm down. Your connection's real. He says, I'm jealous of where you are.
But then Bartiz made it about him.
Yes.
And said, again, this is where I talk about the stupidity of him. Because he says, he's like, dude, I would love to be where you are.
Right.
And I went, you don't need to marry Nancy. You're just saying on television that you have no business with her.
Right.
But and he keeps saying it. I would love to be where you are with Colleen. But Prospector, y'all, just can't do it. Woo-wee.
I'm not going to give my life to nobody I can marry this woman. No way. Pew, 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 pew. You're seeing Prospector. I'm seeing Yosemite Sam.
Weren't they both prospectors? I think they were. I think that's who Yosemite Sam was.
No, he had guns.
But wasn't he like a prospector mining for gold?
I don't know what he was.
I don't know.
I think he was an outlaw.
Was he really? I thought he was a sheriff.
I need to know this.
You know what? We're going to find this out, and we're going to give you an update on the next episode. We promise. On the next episode of Love is Blind, though, y'all, because we've talked already over an hour. That's the show, everybody. What a way to go out on.
He is an adversary of Bugs Bunny.
I guess he is. Save it. We're going to save it as a tease for next episode.
Wikipedia, I already gave you money.
Okay, we've got to go. We'll see you next week. Keep asking yourself this age-old question. Pew, 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 pew.
Is love blind?
Love is blind.